welcome back. In this video, I will be sharing a little behind the scenes story about the podcast I have been working on. I will explain some of the corrections I made along the way, as well the challenges I faced during the process. So let's dive right in. First, let's talk about the corrections I made to the podcast. Like with any project, there were a few adjustments I had to make during the process. Some were minor tweaks to the structure and connect, while others were larger changes to improve the flow and make the conversations more engaging. For example, I adjust the order of the topics we discussed and fine tune the timing to ensure we stay within the planned duration. I also had to re-record some scenes, some parts to make everything sounds smoother and more professional. This change really helped polish the final versions of the podcast and make it the best it could be. One of the biggest challenges was that one of my friends, who was supposed to be one of the guests in my podcast, got sick and wouldn't participate. This was a bit stressful because we had already planned the episode around input, but instead of panicking, I decided to adapt. So I reached another person, someone else, a new friend from the same career, and I asked if he would join as a guest for the podcast. Thankfully, he agreed, and it turned out to be a great opportunity because he shared their first impressions of the career and some of his initial experience, which add a fresh perspective to the podcast. Another challenge was that I had to change the location of the recording. Originally, I had planned to record in a quiet, controlled environment, but due to unforeseen circumstances, I had to find a new spot at the last minute. The first location wasn't ideal, it was a bit noisier and less comfortable, but I managed to work around it, so I made sure the sound quality was still good by testing the audio levels beforehand and using some editing tools afterward. Finally, coordinating schedules with the new guest, my friend, and my other teammate was a bit tricky. Everyone is busy with classes and projects, so finding a time that worked for all of us was challenging. But with some flexibility and patience, we made it happen. Looking back, I have to say that these challenges, while frustrating at first, taught me a lot about flexibility and problem solving. They pushed me to think on my feet and quickly to unexpected changes. In the end, I think the podcast turned out even better because of these adjustments. The new guest brought a unique and fresh perspective that we didn't originally plan for, and the new location gave the podcast a more casual vibe, which I think worked well. I'm really proud of how everything came together beside the obstacles. That's all for this video. I hope you enjoyed hearing about the process of creating a podcast, and the change it made, and some of the challenges we faced. Thank you so much for watching and listening, and stay tuned for the final podcast episode, the first episode, and see you next time.